Thank you, Toastmaster Sean Montel. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome to our first in-person hybrid meeting in quite some time. So it's actually my first in-person meeting, I suspect, for some of us as well. I'd like to kick off tonight with a little quote from author, former business executive, and how I know him, podcaster Seth Godin. Do what you love. That's for amateurs. Love what you do. Now that's for professionals. Perhaps something we might share or seek as Toastmasters in our endeavors here. A sense of mastery and purpose. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to our club president, Toastmaster David Marshall.
So, welcome. Been quite some time. Okay, so you got it. Yeah.
How do I get over there?
You gotta slide it over that way.
This way or to the right?
To your right.
You gotta click on the got it.
Alright. No,
You see it. Right there. Awesome. All right.
Sorry,
Awesome. Oh boy, it's been a while since we met in this location. I'm so happy we got here. Come on, I'm gonna do the dance this time. I'm so done with Zoom, and hopefully we'll see Tammy here also at one of our events, because we'll be doing hybrid for a very long time. And so, just a brief introduction of what we do. As Toastmasters, what we do is we are a club, and we help our members learn the craft of speaking in an environment, basically any environment you want to learn to speak in. So if you want to learn, for example, how to speak as an entrepreneur, you can do that. If you want to learn as an engineer, or just how to talk with someone on the street, this is the best place for you to learn that. And we encourage our members to face their public speaking fears in a safe environment. So everyone here has done an icebreaker. You'll do yours hopefully here soon. And everyone's done an icebreaker, so everyone knows what it feels like to stand up here first time, holding on to a lectern for dear life, nervous and scared and having all these eyes staring at you, sweating and not really remembering your speech, even though you practiced it like 10 times in the past 2 days. But we understand how that is. So this is a safe environment. And this meeting is broken up into 3 parts. So we'll have a speaking portion, we'll have a table topic portion, where we'll talk about that when the general evaluator talks about our helper roles, and then we have an evaluation portion. That's a general flow of this event. Every event is going to flow basically that way. So we do have one guest so far. Sean, would you like to stand up and kind of tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name is Sean. I'm in the military, in the Navy. I've been in for about 10 years now. Planning on transitioning out the military in December. And I'll be going down the path of entrepreneurship. That's the plan. What brought me to that was just coming across like a lot of information. And I just found that, I want to live in an abundance life. And I didn't think that the military could provide that for me. I believe time is very important, something you can't get back. So that's really my goal, is to have a job or a business where I have time to do what I really want to do in life. And I come in here just trying to challenge myself in things that I'm not necessarily comfortable with, and just become comfortable with them and just grow as a person. And that's pretty much why I decided to come here.
Awesome. Thank you. When we have our table topics portion, would you like to participate in that? And our table topics master is Lee, so he'll describe exactly how that goes. But for now, let's get this party started. First master of the evening, I can't run this event by myself, so we have as a general evaluator, which is Zach Phillips, and Zach's going to come up and introduce himself and his helper roles. Zach.
Okay. All
right.
I don't know how we're doing this, but yes,
Which one
my
you
name
want?
is Zach Phillips. I am the general evaluator for this evening. We've got a fairly reasonable sized meeting, not the biggest meeting, not the smallest. But yeah, I am here to evaluate the entirety of the meeting, and I can't do it all by myself. All the roles, so that we've got the grammarian, the awe counter, the word master, listen up, timer, and table topics. And first of all, I'm going to introduce Sean Markle. He's taking on a lot of hats this evening. He is our grammarian and awe counter, as well as our word master and listen up. So come up, Sean, and speak a little bit about those 4 roles.
All right. Once again, everybody. Hi, my name is Sean Markle. I'm the other Sean. So basically, I'm taking on 4 major roles today. And my first role I'm taking on is grammarian. So basically, as a grammarian, I am responsible for making sure that we're not repeating the same usage of words. For example, like common filler words. For example, like and stuff like that. And wait, that's grammarian, right? Oh gosh, yeah. Sorry, that's the odd count, my bad. That's the odd count, right? But as a grammarian, I'm supposed to just make sure like everyone's using a good choice of grammar, and no bad words are used or no bad usage of grammar is used. So I got odd counter and grammarian, and then my third role is the word master. And today's word is, let's use the word reunion, because we all haven't been together. It's our first meeting in a while together in person, so I think reunion would be a good choice for this meeting. So I'm just keeping tabs of how many times people use the word reunion. And yeah, that's about it. Oh, that's enough. Oh, right. So at the end of the meeting, I will be questioning you guys on the stuff that is said during the meeting. Awesome. That is all.
Okay. Thank you so much, Sean Markle. Great 4 introductions. Next up, we've got our timer, Mr. Luke Dobbs. Please come up here, explain your role.
Greetings again. I will be the timer for the evening. As a timer, I will be timing the table topic speakers, the formal speeches, and evaluations as well. So in this role, I will alert each speaker of the time that they have left. In doing so, I will use these cards. I have a green card, a yellow card, and a red card. Okay, so for example, for the table topic speeches, they will be limited to no more than 2 minutes. So at the 1 minute mark, you get your green card. And of course, at your 1 minute, 30 seconds mark, yellow, and at 2 minutes, red. A reminder, when you see this red card, you busted it. So for example, when as table topics is sort of a pseudo competition thing, you kind of get disqualified from the vote at the end who got the best table topic speech. So cool thing on that. Icebreaker speeches, we don't have an icebreaker tonight. And then our general formal speeches will be timed at 5 to 7 minutes in length. So again, at green, which is your 5 minute for your formal speech, is when you've qualified. Yellow, halfway through, or means you have 1 minute left, so that's at 6 minutes. And of course, red is at the extreme of your speech, which is at 7 minutes for the formal speeches. Let's see, timed events. Evaluations. Thank you. Yes, actually, evaluations. Evaluations are timed at 2 to 3 minutes. So with evaluations, at 2 minutes, you get the green card. Yellow card will show up at 2 minutes, 30 seconds, and red at 3 minutes. Thank you very much.
Great introduction to your role as timer. So next up, I'm going to introduce our topics master, Mr. Lee Walker. Give a little description of what the role is tonight, maybe even get the theme if you want, things like that.
Welcome, fellow Toastmasters. I'm the table topics master this evening. And for table topics, I'm going to come up with a question and just randomly pick a member or individual to come up and answer that. And that just helps us on extemporaneous or just impromptu speaking, and it helps us in real life, real world situations when we talk with somebody and we got to think real quickly and organize our thoughts. And you know, especially in our employment or work, it helps out working with our boss. So that's a good thing we practice here at Toastmasters. That's our general evaluator.
Thank you so much, Lee Walker, for that introduction to your role. Do you want to talk a little bit, or Tammy, do you want to talk a little bit about what you're going to do as an evaluator? Oh, you're muted.
Okay, there we go. So my job as the evaluator is to provide verbal and written evaluations for speakers using the Effective Evaluation Manual. So ask those you've been assigned to evaluate what they will present and what they wish to achieve, and answer evaluation questions in the manual as objectively as possible. There you go.
Oh!
Oh, okay. And your dog wanted to say a couple things about it as well. So, without further ado, we're going to bring up our Toastmaster, David Marshall. He's going to introduce himself. So, you ready, David? All right.
So Toastmasters do a lot of clapping. When we were in Zoom, we really didn't do a lot of clapping, but in person, we do a lot of clapping for encouragement. When anyone is coming up to the lectern to speak or being introduced, we do a lot of clapping. So that's another Toastmasterism, is what I'll call it today. So now we'll go into the speaking portion, and I guess I'll read my own introduction. It's kind of awkward, but so okay. Well, I mean, it's not a big deal. So
I could read it if you want.
what's that?
I could read your introduction if you want.
Go for it. Sure.
1 second, I gotta log in. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
All right, excellent.
That gives me an opportunity to.
All right. Mr. David Marshall is working in the Visionary Communication Pathway, Level 1 Evaluation and Feedback. The title of his speech is, "You Can't Stay There. Get Out of Your Comfort Zone." Comfort zones can become our very own self-imposed, self-made prisons if we allow them to. This evening, David will discuss why it's important to get out of our own ways and move towards something bigger. Mr. David Marshall, you have the lecture.
So many of us get comfortable doing the same thing with the same people in the same job, driving the same car, wearing the same clothes. You get where I'm getting at, right? We get in this comfort zone where we stop being human beings and we're human doings. We're just kind of like a cog in a machine doing the same thing on a hamster wheel. And so today I want to talk about comfort zones because we have to get out of it. We tend to upgrade our technology more than we upgrade ourselves. Wouldn't you agree? We upgrade our technology faster. We have better phones and better tablets and better. Every time a better computer comes out, we go and get that computer, but we don't upgrade ourselves enough because we get in our comfort zones. And we have to get off of that comfort zone to become better with ourselves and with our community, because that's what we're here for. I'll tell you a story about a prisoner who was captured behind enemy lines. And he was brought to the commander of the opposition. And the commander said, "We caught you red-handed. We're gonna give you two options. You can go to the firing squad tomorrow morning, or you can choose that door right there." And the prisoner said, "Let's do that door." Commander said, "No one knows. No one knows, just unknown horrors." So the next morning, the prisoner chose the firing squad. And after the shots rang out, the secretary asked the commander, "What's through that door?" And the commander said, "Freedom." But no one chooses it because it's so unknown. Why do we choose known evils over unknown heavens? Because we're in our comfort zones. We're comfortable being uncomfortable in our discomfort. It's kind of a tongue twister, right? We're comfortable being in our discomfort because we get afraid of stepping out, moving forward, trying something new because we're afraid of failing. Interesting about failing is it's learned. We move forward. That's how we become better. I'll tell you another story about a king who received 2 baby eagles as a gift. And he got the 2 baby eagles and he gave it to a caretaker. And he told the caretaker, he said, "I want you to take care of these eagles and breed them. We'll raise them and feed them and take care of them and teach them to do eagle stuff." So when the eagle became adolescent, the king wanted to visit his gifts. And he went to the tender and he said, "Show me what these eagles can do. I want to see them fly high, and I want to see them soar like eagles soar." And the caretaker told the eagles, he gave the command, and one immediately shot up into the air, soared, and did what eagles do. And the king was just like, "Wow, this is awesome." The other eagle left the branch, flew around for a couple of seconds, and went right back to the branch. This was concerning to the king. And he said, "Anyone in the kingdom who can make this eagle do what eagles do will get a big prize, and we'll give him anything that he wants." And he made this big gesture. And so he had sorcerers and wizards and magicians and philosophers and all the big names in the kingdom, and no one can figure it out. The caretaker and the king about to give up when this one man came, and he was able to make that one eagle soar like eagles should do. And the king called him, and it was just a common farmer. And he said, "How did you do it?" "I had sorcerers and wizards and philosophers and all the great names trying to do, and they could not solve this. What did you do?" The farmer said simply, "I cut the branch." Forced the eagle to get out of its comfort zone. That's what we have to do. We have to cut our branches. We have to get out of our comfort zone. You want to be an entrepreneur, and get out of your comfort zone. Because there are going to be things that we come up against that are just going to be a discomfort. It's going to be uncomfortable. That's how we grow. Growing up, I was a big Winnie the Pooh fan. And back in 2018, came up with Christopher Robin. I'm a big Winnie the Pooh fan. I'm Winnie the Pooh. But there was a quote that was said in that movie that I really liked. He said, Winnie the Pooh said, I always get to where I'm going by walking away from where I've been. Simple. I heard the richest place on the planet. Do you know where the richest place on the planet is? The richest place on the planet is the graveyard. Because so many people die without really reaching their full potential. You know how much knowledge goes to the grave because people are so afraid to get out of their comfort zone? That's the richest place on the planet is the graveyard. How sad is that? And here's a quote to wrap up here from Ben Franklin that said, many people die at the age of 25. Don't get buried until the age of 75. Wasted the entire year, the entire life. Same thing, the same clothes, same car, same job. Here I'm getting. Gotta get out of our comfort zones. Thank you, Mr. Pseudo Toastmaster.
Thank you, David Marshall. Let's have 1 minute, Mr. Timer, for evaluations and feedback.
All right. Get Timer's report, please.
Speech. Okay, for our speaker tonight, State Marshal, for the speech came in at 6 minutes and 47 seconds.
Congratulations, Mr. Marshall. You qualify for Best Speaker.
I'm number one. I'm the only one. I'm the only one.
That's Tigger.
That's Tigger, right? Tigger. All right, well, let's go in table topics portion. Let's go table topics. So I would like to call up to the lectern our table topics master, Mr. Lee Walker.
And welcome fellow Toastmasters and guests. We're in the table topics portion of our meeting this evening, and I explain a little bit how table topics works. So this is our first meeting back at ECPI in over a year. Some of us have been here since the club started or when we were meeting here, and some people we've just seen on Zoom, but it's good to see in person. So we're in kind of a new beginning stage. We've hit the reset button and kind of starting over. And okay, our calendar year is kind of toward the end. We're here in September, a few more months left. And we just started our Toastmaster year back in July. So it's a lot of kind of things going around. So don't really have a theme, but I kind of got one just throughout the meeting here that just new beginnings, a new start, something you're working on, something you plan to work on, and we heard a little bit of you kind of talk about that, so I'm gonna just pick some of you to come up and expand on that, or just start off with a new idea. So I'd like to first call up Zach. New beginning, a new start, something you're working on. I know you do some of your speeches or even table topics responses. You go on YouTube, or you make podcasts, or you listen to different speakers or TED Talks, things like that. So tell us something, or one or two that you've kind of recently listened to or watched, or something you plan to watch or listen to coming up.
So something that I want to watch.
Or you've watched recently, or
Okay.
something you plan to watch,
Yeah.
or something you know about
That's
kind
a
of
great
recently.
question. That's a great question. Thank you so much for that.
All right.
Sort of like statement, not really a question per se, but something I recently watched was this show called Undercover Billionaire. Has anyone seen Undercover Billionaire? Okay, so I actually watched both seasons. It's on Discovery Plus. You can probably find it other places, probably the Discovery Channel. But Undercover Billionaire is so great. They take someone who has a company that's worth at least $1 billion, and they strip him or her actually of everything to like $100. They give the guy or girl like a used truck and a phone with like no contacts, and their goal is within 90 days to have a company that's worth $1 million. And I watched the second season first because does anyone know who Grant Cardone is?
Mhm.
Okay, you do.
Mhm.
Two of you do. But yeah, Grant Cardone, he's like Mr. 10X. He's like really known for like, really just like getting people inspired and motivated. And he actually had the hardest challenge to go through. I mean, like, because another thing about it is he's taken out of like his home city and put it into some city he's never been to before. So in this case, he went to Pueblo, and then there was two other people that were there as well. But yeah, I mean, it's just like between the interviews and everything that's going on, in their minds. Like, I mean, like they start with nothing or practically nothing, and they have to get a company worth $1 million in 90 days. And just those little like tidbits that I pick up, and I love to take notes. So like I'm writing down all these little tidbits about like what it takes in order to basically just have a company it's worth a lot, and just the aggressiveness that it takes in order to get to that $1 million valuation. So yeah, I mean, it's worth watching for sure. I highly recommend it to everyone, and that's something that's been on my brain, and I've been telling everyone about it, including now you 6, 7, 5, whatever, 10, whole entire club. So thank you for that great topic. Back to you, Lee Walker.
All right, thanks, Zach. Great. Andrew, kind of along the same lines, just something you've come across recently. I know you're into computers, technology, all these things. You come up with all these gadgets or play around with gadgets. Tell us about something you've come across recently, either on the internet or actually a piece of equipment or something that you're working on, or something you plan to work on or find out more information on.
All right. Thank you, Lee. Sometimes the simplest technology is the best technology. I recently bought a new shower head. I don't know if you're familiar with these, but they're the rainfall shower heads. It's basically this large shower head that it rains water down upon you. It's one of the best things I've spent money on, and I had the luxury of installing it myself. And I don't know what it is, but when you install your own things, like it feels different. It feels more yours than it does if you have someone else do it for you. And I would say that would be one of my crowning achievements. I mean, yes, there's lots of technology in the world that we can play with and learn from, but I would say my new rainfall shower head, which has given me the best showers that I've had in a long time, was definitely definitely something new that I've come across that has changed things for me. Back to you, Lee.
All right, thank you, Andrew. That was great. Great answer. Next is Tammy. Tammy, I knew we know in your time being in the club, you're active with Facebook, Instagram, and those type of things online. Tell us about something you've come across recently with Facebook or Instagram, or something you saw, or something you are working on, something you plan to work on, or do something with those features online. It could be Toastmasters related or personal or.
Okay. Well, usually I'm on social media fairly often, but due to life circumstances, I have not been on as much. What I plan to do, because I am VPPR for Toastmasters, which is Vice President of Public Relations, is to get more posts out there about our club and our meetings and encourage people to be able to uh, participate with us and be interested in seeing what's going on in our club. And now that we're getting together, getting some photos and some personal stories to go with them. And so everybody can see and want to be at our club. So just get everybody hyped up and interested. Personally wise, well, there's a lot of exciting things going on, including, fostering puppies and taking care of people that I work with. And so it doesn't leave me much time to post personal things, but I do have a life going here and it's been fun. I love social media because we can keep in touch with all our family and friends, and who better to invite to a Toastmasters meeting than the people we know? If we start there and share posts, then maybe somebody will come. You never know. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Tammy. That was great. Next we have Sean Marco. Okay, so I think at one of the previous meetings you told us you kind of changed jobs. You're working at another store chain, but tell us about something else you may be working on or planning to work on here in the future as kind of a new start or new thing you want to just interested in.
Yeah, definitely. Something new that I've been recently working on is piano. So recently I just invested or bought into a piano or a keyboard from Amazon. It's about like $120. So just a little beginner one, but basically it's been like going on YouTube and looking at like free tutorials online of just how to play like simple chords and like a couple of my favorite songs. And I'm struggling a little bit right now because I don't really have the hand coordination of just like using multiple fingers at once to play like a single chord, then moving to like a next chord within like a few seconds or within a second. Something really difficult because I've never used my hands like that ever before to play an instrument. The most complicated instrument I've played was in middle school when I played the tuba. And I recently got involved with the keyboard or the pianos because I've always wanted to play the piano. That was so cool when people like band or whenever I'm watching like a YouTube video, just people like playing like piano in public, like in the streets. Just going like flawless, going ape mode, like beast mode, just playing like these crazy like Beethoven songs and stuff. So I just kind of wanted to become something like that. Thank you.
Great. All right, thank you, Sean. Next is Luke. All right. Tell us something that you've come across or something you're working on or planning to work on or something you're developing an interest in.
Thank you, Lee, very much for that question. This would certainly be a season of changes for me personally. Reunion is really quite the theme for me, actually. So I had 2 kids and a wife, of course, and they have been overseas for COVID with her parents. She's from Japan. And it's been, well, more than a year. And just recently, they are home. We've had quite the reunion. And so with that comes a lot of the happiness and getting back together, as well as making plans for the next project. Vasco has some happy news personally on the work front, and my job I'll be transferring from my job out to Japan sometime in the future. We're still working on that. So of course, that's our big project is getting all that together, closing things down, getting my current job set up with a new changeover and things like that. So just a lot of transitions, a lot of project work going on. I told people that I feel like we just moved into a new house because I had it pristine. You know, all the projects, repaired the holes in the ceiling, painted the walls. It looked great. And they come home and 6 suitcases she brought back with her, all opened up and just like boxes. We just moved in, I swear. New house. Of course, the washer went out on day 2. So I had to go and buy a new washer and dryer. Had to get another car because the other car went out while she was gone. So a lot of transition moments, a lot of things we're working on together. And just really couldn't be happier with it though. Thank you very much, Lee, for the questions.
John, would you like to try? We kind of briefly talked about transitioning from the military to being an entrepreneur. Kind of expand on that. Some of your ideas that you're planning or thinking about as an entrepreneur, what kind of areas are you're focusing on or thinking about?
Yeah, so right now I'm planning on like doing like the Airbnbs, like renting out Airbnbs and doing like the car rentals to like Turo or hire a car, that kind of thing. That's kind of where I'm gonna start it out. I want to get it to where like I'm pretty comfortable, you know, and then once I'm comfortable running the business, scale it up and then venture out to see what other businesses I would be interested in doing. All this came about pretty recently where I just made the decision that, you know, I wanted to work for myself and just be able to move more freely, not necessarily have to, you know, ask permission to, you know, go on vacation or whatever the case. I just want to set up a foundation where I have my own business and I could set things up to where it's like, okay, I want to leave, go 2 weeks here, 2 weeks there, just like I said, just so I can have more freedom to, you know, move how I want to move, live how I want to live. And that's really just my idea behind it. Obviously, it's going to be a new venture for me. You know, I haven't had any businesses or anything, so it'll definitely be a new experience. But you know, I feel like I'm ready for it. You know, I'm ready to challenge myself to get what I want out of life. And me coming here is just a part of that process, you know, challenging myself so I can get what I want out of life. Me being able to speak in front of people and communicate is going to help me in my businesses. Then that's something that I have to do. You know, I don't think that's like it's an option. And I just want to like become the best version of myself. You know, that's truly my goal, you know, just give what I can, you know, to the world, you know.
All right, thank you, Sean. Would you like to try? What is your name, sir?
David.
David, let's welcome David. All right, David. I know you walked into our meeting, that's okay, we welcome you as a guest. We're always happy to see guests, and so tabletoppers are gonna ask you just a question, and you just try to answer it for as long as you can, a minute, and watch. Luke there has the timer, when you see the green, you've hit your 1 minute, but that's okay if you don't make it there, it's all fine. The point is, you're here, you're up, and giving a speech and trying to communicate, and that's what we're working on here at Toastmasters. So David, just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you found out about Toastmasters.
Hi everyone, my name is David, and most of my life I was kind of shy, quiet, introverted. So me being here is kind of a big step and kind of me pushing the boundaries of what I created for myself. I first found out about Toastmaster through online, like Google. I was looking up like Reddit forums, looking up how to socialize, how to be a better public speaker, how to have more confidence when I talk, and build communications with others. So that's why I'm here. A little bit of background about me. I'm in college. I'm studying biology right now, trying to go to dental school. And when back in high school, usually when I like did presentations, my friends usually said I went super saiyan because I went super fast and I just got the presentation out of the way, like my face was red. But one memorable experience I had was my senior year of high school when I was presenting pathophysiology topic on spina bifida occulta, which, if you don't know, is malformation in a child's spine due to neural defects. But yeah, I just remember being so empowered and conquering my fear of talking, and it was like I remember it now. So
All right, David, great. It's our portion of table topics, so let's welcome our Toastmaster Club President David Marshall.
Right. Great job, everyone. Everyone, give yourself a round of applause. Everyone came up and did their best. Timer, can I get a timer report, please?
Absolutely. Thank you, Toastmaster David Marshall. So for our times, the table topics, we started off with Zach Phillips clocking in at 1 minute, 52 seconds. Andrew Bullock clocked in at 1 minute, 21 seconds. Tammy Atma clocked in at 1 minute, 47 seconds, excuse me. Sean Markle clocked in at 1 minute and 8 seconds. I clocked in at 1 minute and 37 seconds. Guest Sean clocked in at 1 minute, 53 seconds. And guest David clocked in at 1 minute, 31 seconds. So everybody qualified.
Now, when we were on Zoom, I guess Andrew's still gonna put that up, right? But so since we're doing in person, Zach's gonna pass out some notes and you're gonna vote for best table topics.
I don't know if we have enough pens.
And then we'll collect that and we'll get that here.
Right now. Actually, I don't have anything with that. Good. Sure, I know, sir. Use an extra one. All right. Where we'll put it. Put it. Here-ish.
All right, just fold it up, put it there. All right. So now we'll go into our evaluation portion of the event. And what we're going to do is introduce our general evaluator to start the evaluations portion. And we'll introduce our evaluator and go right into general evaluation. Mr. Zach.
So, thank you for our speaker. Thank you for our table topics. Like David said, I am going to turn it over to our one evaluator, Ms. Tammy Adama. She's going to talk a little bit about David's speech, and also she's going to just present your path and things like that. Is that correct?
Oh, she's already, that's already.
Oh, okay, that already
She
happened.
just
So
did
yeah,
it.
just turn it over to Tammy Adama to talk a little bit about David's speech.
Okay, so I love listening to you speak, David. You get right to the heart of the matter. You're encouraging and motivating. Your stories and examples go along with your title. You can't stay there. Get out of your comfort zone. We all need to get out of our comfort zones. So you certainly encourage us to do that. Your speech was well organized. A rookie mistake is to rely on the lectern. A lot of people that are new will stand behind it, and like David showed us in the beginning, they'll like grip onto it and they don't want to leave from behind it. But you made good use of your space. Your gesturing was very good. You spoke loudly and clearly. Your vocal variety was pretty good. You could have did a little more with that, but you did, but it was, it did the trick. Facial expressions were good. You did show some of that. I would say pace a little less and walk deliberately. So walk to this side of the room and deliver your message, and then walk to the middle of the room perhaps, and then to the other side. Sometimes your head cut off when you moved forward too much, so we lost you on Zoom. And now that we're hybrid, we have to pay attention to that, to not only what our audience in front of us can see, but as well as our Zoom audience. So maybe in the future we can put some tape on the ground so that people will know what is going to be the cutoff. If we go too far, then people won't be able to see us on the Zoom. To challenge yourself, I would say more vocal variety. Maybe you could imitate Pooh and some of the characters you mentioned. I would have really enjoyed hearing you do that, I think. And but all in all, you did a great job. You had us interested. It was a topic everyone can relate to, and we appreciated your talk. So thank you, David, and thank you, General Evaluator.
That's great evaluation. So I'm going to go into our cover roles. So first up, would you come back up, Sean Markle, for your 4? This is a record. Although I think David always wants me to do the whole entire thing myself.
I think you could.
All right, so
Hello again, everybody. So I'll start off with my first role I did, which was, let's see, the counter. So for Tammy, I have 3 you-knows, 2 ums, and 1 And for Andrew, I have 2 ums and then 1 you-know. And for Zach, I counted 1 3 uhs, 2 you-knows. And then for Sean, I counted 2 ums and 5 you-knows. And then for Luke, I counted 3 uhs and then 2 ums. And then for David, I counted 8 uhs and 5 ums. For Lee, I didn't count anything. And then for David, I didn't count anything either. And all right, so let's see, grammarian. I wanted to say that you guys did a great job. I didn't see any bad uses of grammar, so you guys should give yourself a pat on the back.
Let's clap. Let's give the clap. Toastmasters clap. Come on, clap.
There you go. All right, sweet. All right, so then let's see. So for the word master role, I only counted 1 person using the word reunion, which was Luke. So good job, man. And then let's see. All right, and now to the questions. I have a lot of questions. So first off, let's start it off with, how long has Sean been in the Navy? 10 years.
10 years.
And why did Sean come to the meeting? Or what was the reason he came to the meeting?
The preparation for entrepreneurship.
Yep, exactly. And what was the title of David's speech? without looking at a sheet of paper.
Get out of your own way. Right? Get out of your own way.
Get out of
You can't stay there. Get out of
Can't
your
stay there,
comfort
yeah.
zone.
Yeah.
There we go. I was gonna say that. All right. So in David's speech, he said something about evils. Give an exact quote. So why do we choose known evils over unknown heavens? Did you just say something like that? I did. Yeah, that's so.
Okay.
So why do we choose known evils over unknown heavens? Comfort. Yeah, exactly. We don't want to push ourselves outside of comfort zone. And then let's see. So what's David a big fan of?
Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh, yeah. There we go. And where's the richest place in the world? Graveyard.
Graveyard.
All right. So why does Sean want to start his own business / become an entrepreneur?
Freedom.
Freedom, yes. And what is going on at Luke's house? Like what just occurred? What recently happened?
Reunion.
6 luggages exploded.
Exactly. All right. And what show has Zach recently seen?
Undercover billionaire.
Yes.
One of the seasons is in Erie, Pennsylvania.
Why doesn't that surprise me?
Yeah. Undercover underdog barbecue.
You know what? I just got a recommendation to go there.
Yeah. First season guy set that up. Yeah, go there.
All
It's
right.
actually not far from here.
So what is the reason for David joining Toastmasters?
Big,
Not David over there.
big step in confidence, public speaking, because you're previously shy in it. And that's a growing it.
Awesome. And then just a couple more questions. What was the medical term that David gave his speech on during his senior year of high school?
Spinal different, a bunch of larger words.
What was the word again, David? Or what's it? Oh, okay. Yeah, I said that. All right, and then one final question. What kind of shower head did Andrew buy recently?
Oh,
Rainwater.
Rainfall.
rainfall. I only get one of those.
All right, that is all. Good job, everybody.
Sean Martin for that. And since we got the timers report for speaker and table topics, we do a timers report for the evaluator, Ms. Tammy Adams.
Yes. So our evaluator, Amy Adama, clocked in at 2 minutes and 22 seconds for her
Thank you so
evaluation.
much.
Get the best evaluator.
There we go. Best speaker and best evaluator are
You're
already
number
covered.
one. You're number one.
So I think that's it for our helper role. Thank you again, Lee Walker, for those table topics. Got me to talk about one of my new favorite shows, Undercover Billionaire, which I'm going to watch again. Maybe get another free trial. I don't know. I'm not going to pay $6.99 for that. Because there's only one show that I like to watch. If anything, I should buy the DVD for it. So we're going to turn it over.
The general evaluation.
Oh, okay, yeah. So for the first meeting in person, hybrid in person, it went really, really well. We started basically on time, I think like 1 minute over or something like that. Evaluation was great. Thank you, Tammy, for that. The roles actually were covered fairly quickly, although we had some last minute changes. In the future, I'm going to have a sign up sheet as a, me being the VPE sign up sheet for, let's start with 3 meetings. We can go further if you'd like. But yeah, so that includes speeches and everything like that. We'll work with that for right now. But yeah, all in all, great. I'm glad that everything came together. We have this tablet, to go over the agenda. We've got, the cameras. We set it up a couple weeks ago. Yeah. And maybe in the future, you shouldn't wear 4 hats. But, other than that, and then also, getting more speakers, more, signing people up even quicker for roles. But all in all, really good first meeting. So yeah, and now I'm going to turn it over to Toastmaster of the Evening / President, David Anthony Marshall.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for showing up today. Our first event, in person and hybrid. I think it went very well, just like Zach said. I have fun. I always have fun when I come here. And as we continue doing our in-person events, we're going to get back into the traditional Toastmasters way of doing things. So just like we had the speaker portion, the table topics, we had the evaluations. We're going to get back into more evaluating because just like my speech said, we got to get out of our comfort zones to learn a little bit more. So we're going to be more, we're going to evaluate more on stage presence, so to speak. So like Tammy pointed out, my pacing is one of the things I've always done. that was like kind of my Achilles heel. So she did catch up on that. So that's something that I have to work on is pacing. And these are the things that we're going to work on as we build our speeches. So using the space properly, walking with intention, like she said, gesturing with intention, using voice inflection when it's appropriate.
Where's your crew invitation?
Notation.
Don't always be high.
It's not high. It's kind of, no, that's
not to get a report.
Let's take it. No, who's more like the way I'm speaking now, kind of reserved and it's a fun little couple there. I don't know. But we are going to get into those things that make us better speakers. So we are going to push you a little bit out of your comfort zone, like Tammy did, about pacing. That's something I have to be more conscious of. Maybe, for example, just using our hands a little bit more and looking people in the eye and while we speak around the room to make sure everyone's getting personal attention, so to speak. I'm probably clipping my head. Yes, I am. So we have to, these are the things that we're going to come up with. And I promise you that if you stick with it and you go through pathways and you have fun with it and you do the work, you will become a better speaker because despite my Achilles heel of not using the space and that sort of thing, just for being a part of New Beginnings Toastmasters has helped me in my career being a lot more confident in my speech and talking to people, and who I am and the way I speak now is completely different than the way I did when I first started. So I promise you, if you stick with it and you get the evaluations and you add it to your speeches in succession, you will get better. I promise you that. Or you get out of it what you put into it. So this is a great opportunity and I encourage you, go for it. Announcements. Oh, I did have an announcement, yes. Get back there. So I do have an announcement. But before I get to that, I want to talk to our guests. Sean, did we meet your expectations today? If you'd like to give us a little feedback on your experience at New Beginnings Toastmasters.
Yeah, pretty much met my expectations. Just just getting up, seeing everybody talk, and how they present themselves. Then me going up, doing the same. I do see like you said, where it would definitely challenge you, and what you put in. Somebody can give you input on something, but if you're not constantly working on it, then you're just gonna stay where you're at. So I definitely see growth.
Awesome. And Mr. David, please, how did you enjoy your first event?
I
I really liked it, just being here in this kind of environment, being immersed in this area, this helped me kind of be aware of what I lack and kind of just show me some areas where I can work on where
Awesome. New Beginnings meets the first, second, and fourth Tuesdays of every month. So at the same time, 6:30, we'll meet here, mingle, and start promptly at think military time. 7 o'clock, I think it's 0700. No, we don't meet that early. 7 o'clock, it'll start promptly at 1900 for those military types. And then we'll go through it. Not every meeting will be this short because we like to have many speakers. Hopefully we get an icebreaker from you and an icebreaker from David here soon. That would be awesome to hear you. Just a quick announcement. Toastmasters is changing level 1. So evaluation and feedback. And now this is for those who sign up after the change is implemented. So level 1 is going to change. And I'm going to read it verbatim because I took this from the email I got. Kind of sort of verbatim. Evaluation feedback project and the icebreaker will be joined to new projects to make up level 1. Writing a speech with purpose and introduction to vocal variety and body language. These new projects will teach basic public speaking skills and should help new members feel less overwhelmed and provide building blocks to expand on as they progress through the path. Research and presenting a project previously found level 1 will be repurposed as an elective in level 3. Please note that the new level 1 will only be available to paths selected after the launch of these new projects. Paths in progress or already completed will continue with current level 1 projects. New projects will only be available in English for the time being, and translated projects coming in the future. So they anticipate having this done by the end of the year. So if anyone signs up before the end of the year, we'll do the legacy level 1, which includes research and presenting. And then after this is all done, then it'll switch over. I guess we don't have our sign up sheet, right? So I guess we'll send, or do you have kind of a?
I have some really rudimentary sign up stuff.
Is it, Andrew, you think you can pull the agenda up? So maybe we can do it that way? Kind of edit it.
1 moment, please.
Awesome.
Show us who won the table topics.
Yes, I'm definitely gonna get to that. How much time do you need?
Just logging in now.
Yeah, I'll get to the after. Yeah, I have this here. All right. Awesome.
We have a blank agenda.
Oh boy. All right, so our next event will be 1 week from today, which is what, the 14th? Yes, September 14th. We have every role to fill. And I would like to possibly give Sean a break, so he doesn't have to wear 4 hats. How do you feel switching all those hats out?
It's kind of overwhelming. It's hard to like pay attention to what everyone's saying.
Right.
I gotta focus on this one thing specifically.
So it'd be good. I appreciate you taking on that
Yeah, of
challenge
course.
though, but that's not ideal.
Definitely.
At all. All right, so roles for next event. Sean and David, you're welcome to fill helper roles, and we can definitely walk you through that. Just like that's one of the roles that Sean did. So kind of like an odd counter, you would just listen up to all the speeches, and just count how many times someone uses an or or you know, or like, or some type of filler word when they're trying to get their thoughts together. So you see how I kind of pause? A lot of people, when they're trying to get their thoughts together, they'll go, so just to fill in that, it's a nervous thing. So you like to try to keep track of that so that it helps people become more aware of when they're doing that and back out of it. So that's non-counter. And then listen up is actually the fun one because you get to listen to the entire meeting and then pick on people at the end. So, sort of. That's the fun one. So you're welcome to fill, if you want to, you're welcome to fill one of the helper roles. Well, let's see how. You want to scroll down a little? I think I want to do table topics next. I'll do table topics next week.
I'm considering a speech, perhaps.
Are you?
Consider.
Who was that?
Luke?
Dobbs.
Jobs.
All right.
Been a while.
I will raise Luke Dobbs, and I'm not a poker person, so trust me, I don't know any of these. So what is this? How do you call? You do a raise and a call, and a raise?
Call it the meet, raise, if you're gonna do something. The double speech.
I don't know. I'm gonna raise your Sean Markle speech.
Oh, man.
I'm not gonna be, I'm naturally not gonna be here next week.
You're not?
No, I'm just joking. I'll think about it. I don't wanna just like set it in stone right now.
I got you. No, that's fine. All right, what else we got? All right, so.
I'll do a timer roll. That's open.
A what?
Timer.
Sean Markle. Timer. All right,
I signed myself up for an evaluator.
all right.
Any volunteers for Toastmaster evening?
I'll do word master, listen up.
Word master, listen up. Miss Tony Adams.
Toastmaster.
Toastmaster. Who wants to be Toastmaster? Wow, that silence is deafening.
What's that? I'm gonna do table topics. So. All right, well, let's do that for now. We'll reach out, do it for the rest of the week and fill those roles.
Alrighty. Changes have been saved.
All right, cool. And now we're down to the part where we find out who won best table topics. And the winner is David, not me, that one. Come on out. You number one. You're number one. David. All right. Best table topics. We get to give out actual ribbons now, not the virtual ribbons. So, all right, David. Awesome. Good job. Another speech. Acceptance speech. If you want to, come on up. All the practice you can get. What's that?
I don't know why. I don't know how I got it. I don't. Thank you.
All right. That's not normal, David, but I'm glad you're a good sport. You kind of.
Can you say that medical term one more time?
Yeah, right? All right, so that is, all right, am I missing anything?
Oh, I just wanted to say one last thing before we close the meeting.
Yes,
Just
sir.
want to give a huge shout out to Sean and also David
Yeah.
for basically just showing up and having the courage to, like, just try to improve yourself and become better at public speaking. I think you guys fought the hardest battle, which is actually showing up. So congrats, guys.